As you recall, last week I shared with you some of the biggest mistakes that I've made in my money life, the first 5. And this week I will be sharing with you the last 5. If I had not learned from those mistakes, this could have cost me the financial independence that I enjoy today. But don't worry, if you actually listen to the tips in this video, you'll be able to actually be on your way to financial independence as long as you apply them every day. So let's continue my walk of shame. Mistake number 6 is spending money on ego-based stuff and not what really matters in life. As I progressed in my career, I started to make more money, so I could save more, but I still needed to go over some of my ego. And that ego, well, I wanted to show off in some ways, so I wanted to go for that fancy holiday or the fancy restaurant, be able to tell my friends. So I was spending a lot more money than I actually needed to spend. Back then I could afford it, so that was okay. But if I would have saved more money instead of spending on all this fancy stuff, I would have been to actually be financially independent even earlier. Understand what makes you happy in life and what are your life goals. Then you can start to plan actually what you want to spend towards that. And you will realize also that many things do not necessitate a lot of money. Learn about your ego traps also. What are the things that trigger you and make you spend more money than you actually need to? And if you're interested in learning more about peace of mind with money, then make sure to check the video link that there is below in the description right about that. Mistake number 7, not investing in myself. When thinking about money, I always thought about it in very simple terms, which was, okay, I'm earning a salary, therefore I'm having money coming in, and on the other side I need to watch out about the money coming out so I can save and I can invest. What I did not realize for a very long time is that the best investment that I could make was in myself. No one knows perfectly what's going to happen tomorrow, whether it's the job that you currently have or it's actually going to happen to your investment, your savings. All of these could change, could disappear. And sometimes I feel that, I could be irrelevant tomorrow with the pace of change that we see all around us. So invest in yourself. Even if it's a small amount of money, continuously invest in your strengths, in skills that will develop you and actually match what will be needed in the world of work tomorrow and will allow you to continue to have an earning very long into your life. Mistake number 8, sitting on cash for too long. When I started saving, I was just happy to actually look at the cash increasing in my bank statement. After all, who is not happy about looking at this every day? Particularly for people like me, who for many years have actually not been looking at their bank statement. But if you leave your money in cash, what you're missing out on is the strongest force in the universe, according to Einstein, and that's the force of compound interest. Any investment that you do on a long-term basis is better than keeping cash in your bank account. If you want to be convinced about that, do watch the video that is in the description below, which is about inflation and how this is reducing your purchasing power. So as soon as you are able to actually save money, okay, maybe you can have a reserve fund of like 3 or 6 months in terms of cash, but past that, make sure that you have an automated system, a plan for where you want to save, and to make sure that it goes where you want your investment to be and it's systematic. You don't have to think about it, it's done automatically. If you like this walk of shame so far, please do hit the like button and subscribe if you want to hear more about content like this. Mistake number 9, believing in retirement. The classic view of life I had when I was in my 20s was, okay, I was starting corporate life, I might change company once or twice during my life, I would earn money, save, have a government pension, even have a private pension, and then happily retire about, 60, 65. But progressively that view has changed because the world of the baby boomers is not the world today. And the government pensions and even the private pensions are definitely not as good as they used to be 20 or 30 years ago. It's after I read a book called The 100-Year Life that I actually started to look at my life in a different way. And I started to realize that actually, did I want to retire? Maybe not necessarily. Will I go gardening after 65? Well, maybe I still want to be active and earn some living. And linked to investing in yourself, I think it's very powerful to think that you could be actually doing some sort of activity until very late in your life. Even if it's not 100% of the time, even if it's 20% of the time, there might be earnings which will come with it. Spend some time imagining the different type of lives that you would like to live for the rest of your life. Not what you're living necessarily today, but imagining what you need to learn and what you need to do to get to those different lives. A portfolio of activities, something that makes you happy, and at the same time that will allow you to actually not rely on just retirement as a basket of money that you have past a certain age. And if you want to imagine those potential lives, do check out the 100-Year Life book, which is in the video description. It's really great for imagining what you could do with your life. Mistake number 10, thinking that I could do it all on my own. When I started to invest and I started to actually read more about investment, then I got cocky. I started to say, well, I'm better than any financial advisor. I can do better than them, and I will actually manage the whole of my money just by myself. And sure enough, if you have very simple strategies like ETF or putting some money in gold, and very simple strategies, you can manage it on your own. That's not that difficult. But the more you read and the more you want to optimize your investment, then you realize that it's starting to take a lot of time, effort, and actually skills to be able to do that. Particularly if you want to use options to buy or sell shares and you want to have a diversification strategy, which is quite different and optimized than just the basics, then it takes a lot of time. That's when I realized that, like everybody, for pretty much everything, I needed help. So now I have a financial advisor who is helping me to deal with the parts which are complex and the parts that I don't want to be spending my time on. So because time is money, and I prefer to pay somebody who is going to be more skillful at doing it and also who is working on what I want out of my investment. Finding trusted advisors is something which is really important and actually takes time. It's a decision that needs to be taken slowly and to be sure about what you want to get out of it and be sure that what you're paying for it is an amount that you're comfortable with. I do not have all my money with my financial advisors. There are some things that I do by myself. So it's also deciding what you want to put with a financial advisor and what you want to keep with yourself. If you don't know where to start, the first starting point is to understand what are your goals. So instead of having a financial advisor, think about having a personal finance coach. They will help you not about necessarily where to put your investment right away, but clarifying what are your goals and what are the aspects that make you happy and how to bring that with money in your life. Well, part 2 of my walk of shame on money is over. Hopefully that was fun and useful again. And remember that small mistakes are not really too bad as long as you learn from them. So make some small mistakes, correct. When you get something that is working for you in terms of saving, investment, the way you manage your money, then you can go bigger from that point. And remember, be the special agents of your life. Take control. See you in the field, special agent.